What's going on out there, everyone? Oh, Scott, what's going on, buddy? Kevin McFarland, Ricky, Jason Buell, Jeff Johnson. Good to see you guys on here. Hope you guys are having a good night. Let a few more people jump on here and we'll fire this thing up tonight. Sounds like a good idea to me. Well, Jason Buell, I was just talking about you last night. I haven't heard nothing from you for a while. Hope you're doing all right, bud. Kevin, I hear you. It's nice and cool out here, too. I didn't want to come down here. I got deer pouring in the front yard right now. I was having a blast watching them. But I had to come down here and do my job. I hear you, Jason. Been busy. Jeff, the honeymoon trip is over, but we're still on our honeymoon. Let's just put it that way. Nah, it's been a great time. Great time. Enjoyed every bit of it. Well, Jeffrey, good to see you on here, bud. Good evening to you. We have a couple more minutes here and we're fired up. I appreciate that, Jeff. Mark Coleman, good to see you on here, bud. Married life's treating me great. Better than ever, Bubba. Except hunting season's right around the corner, and I'll have to share some of my deer. I don't like that, but oh well. I guess I had a good run and shot a lot of them by myself. Had them all to myself. Now I got to share them. So I'd rather her shoot one than me any day. Old Anthony, good to see you on here. Yeah, the podcast of deer and deer hunting. I forgot that I even did that. I didn't even realize it was out yet. I'll have to go out there and watch it. I appreciate that, Anthony. They're good old boys. I was up there at their office. That was a good time. Scott, you're asking what's my thoughts on putting seed in with no rain in the forecast. Could it be a dangerous move? You know, I look at it that I've done it many a times on accident. You know, I don't know if you remember me telling you or not, last year, I planted the 15th of August, my honey hole, because I was supposed to have the first rain and forever coming in that night. They're calling an inch and a half of rain. I never got a drop of rain till October 3rd, and the honey hole was in the ground. It grew beautifully, except it was just a short growing season. But germination was great. It grew good. That seed lay there dormant. If I had the choice of saying, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plant it and not worry about it until rain comes in, or should I wait for a rain? I'm going to wait for a rain. But if you get it in and it doesn't rain, don't worry too much about it. But I would still wait on a rain if I had that choice. just so I know the seed's not laying there any longer than it has to. The biggest thing with the seed, not so much that anything's going to go wrong with the seed, it is the birds and everything coming in there, especially an area with a lot of turkeys. They will just scavenge it out. Have a very good chance of that. Now, the smaller seeds like our honey hole, stuff like that, not so much. But if you're using anything with cereal rye, oats, anything like that, chicory, anything like that, a bigger seed, peas, soybeans, they're going to destroy them. So I would personally wait, if it was me, until I knew the rain was coming in, and then hope it does come in. All right, guys, let's fire this thing up. Hopefully we got a lot of questions. Likes again, this show here, there ain't a whole lot we can discuss on this topic. When it comes to late planting annuals, you guys heard me talk about it a million times. We have 3 varieties that I would plant late. And when I mean late, I'm talking a month or later than our normal annual fall planting. With me, Lights Out is definitely my favorite for a late season planting. I didn't care if I didn't get a drop of rain, if I didn't have seed in the ground October 1st and our season started October 1st, I would plant Lights Out because I know I'm going to get some growth out of it. You're not going to get full maturity, but you're going to get more growth out of it. Cereal rye alone is a very good one. The small bag here are 1 pound bags of cereal rye. I actually like mixing cereal rye in with our Lights Out. The Lights Out has our forage oat and our turnips in it. So I like mixing the cereal rye in. It's going to give even more to come back the next spring, since that cereal rye acts like a perennial. Even though it is an annual for the first year, it will come back about a month earlier than spring green up. Offer the deer about a good 30+% protein for about 2 to 3 months and then die off on its own. So I like mixing them two together. Another great one, I don't have it on the table because it's a 17-pound bag, is our fall, winter, spring. The fall, winter, spring, I think I got it right here, guys. The fall, winter, spring is another very good one that if you're looking for a variety that you can plant later, that's going to offer you a few different items. That you're going to have your cereal rye, you're going to have your buckwheat, you're going to have your forage peas. It's a very good one to plant later in the year. These two, the fall, winter, spring, or the Lights Out, either one of them, I would not plant neither of them during the normal planting fall season. I always plant them later. I always plant them at least a month later than I do my normal spring green up. Or my normal fall planting. Sorry, I was looking on the screen here. But yes, them 3 right there: the cereal rye by itself, the Lights Out. Let's say 4 of them, because I'm going to say the Lights Out, and I'm going to say Lights Out mixed with cereal rye, and then I'm going to say the fall, winter, spring. All them right there are all very good ones that you can actually use for that late planting, because we're not getting any moisture. It's been so hot. Having both of them, we're having a lot of issues with that right now. I got guys here in the Midwest, here in Illinois. My best friend right now, he texted me last night and this morning that the rain that's supposed to come in only came in a little bit, got stuff to germinate, got the 90-degree weather again, and fried them. So he was actually spraying, killing, and replanting right now today. It happens to the best of us. I've had it happen to me many a times that a lot of people jump in there early thinking, well, I mean, myself, I would rather the seed set there with no rain on it than get a little rain on it and then get hot. So a lot of guys look at planting your fall plots a little earlier than normal because you do have some rain still coming in. They know that August month is going to be dry as a bone, but them small rains will make that plant germinate, and then that August heat with no rain will wipe them out. So I would rather wait later. That's why I like focusing on my normal fall planting here in the Midwest, August 15th. Usually the rains we were having that has moisture in the ground have stopped. We're going to start getting into that dry spell. We're going to be able to work the soil. Pray for rain. If we don't get it, that seed will lay there in that soil dormant. But like I just talked with Scott here earlier, If you're looking at planting and there's no rain in sight and there's no pop-up chance. And when I mean pop-up chance, I mean the hot weather could bring a pop-up shower in. You never know. If you're having a little bit cooler weather and you're not thinking you're gonna have any kind of pop-ups, I would wait to plant right now. I would not plant and just let that seed lay there for the birds to scavenge on. I would wait till I start watching that long-term forecast, and hopefully one of them upcoming rains is going to happen the closer it gets, and then get the seed in the ground then. Now, if you're limited on time, you're 2 and 3 hours away from your farm. If you got to plant it, you got to plant it. That's all we can do. Because I know you can't just take off in the last minute to run across the field here and plant your plot. You got to drive hours to do it. So, but if I had the choice, I would definitely look at more of a waiting on the rain right now instead of just letting, like, the lights out, the cereal rye, the fall, winter, spring. Them 3 mixes have big seeds in them. So the turkeys are just going to destroy them. So the longer they lay there, the more they're going to destroy. These 3 mixes here, the lights out, I don't like covering it. I like packing it in. I'll do the exact same thing as I always do. I'll firm my bed up with my Packer Max. I will go in, I will spread my lights out. Then I'll come back in with the Packer Max and pack it in. Even though some of them oat seeds are going to be exposed to the birds, it's still going to get a good germination. The reason I do that instead of trying to cover them, since you can cover oats a lot deeper, is that the turnips that are in there, you'll cover them too deep. So you're looking at the same thing when it comes with the fall, winter, spring. You got the peas in it. You got the cereal rye, which are bigger seeds. You got radish and buckwheat are small. You got to do about the same thing. You can cover them too deep and lose the small seeds in there. So I still love using the old Packer Max and packing them in, and it does very well, especially right before a rain. All right, let's see what we got here before I start continuing on here. You got a bunch of them on here. Holy cow. Scott, you're talking about honey hole and slam dunk is what you're using along with strips of southern greens. I would definitely wait for that rain to come in. If you're able to do that and you're close enough that you can run down one day, if you got rain coming in, I would wait to plant them until the rain comes. Doug Lamb, good to see you on here, bud. Good text you earlier. Roger Neal, good to see you on here, bub. Mike, you're asking what do you have that grows good in lower pH soils like sand? We have a lot of sand here we're at. That's kind of it's a little different there. On the sandier soil, the fall, winter, spring is going to do a lot better for you than the lights out will. So I would definitely pick it. It will grow in a little bit lower pH, but you'll never get the tonnage that you should if you add the lime to it and build that pH up. So the more you can do for the pH of that sand, the better off you're going to be with that fall, winter, spring. But I would pick it over the lights out just because of the sandier soil. Mark talking about loves the fall, winter, spring. Buckwheat came up this spring. It was huge. Yeah, absolutely, bud. Robert, now I know you hate bird eating plots. I understand that, man. Jeffrey, Robbie, I will spray Boot Rack 200 on my trophy clover. Can I spray clover fuel at the same time? Absolutely. Mix it in together with the same tank, bud. Just do a one-pass application. Mix your clover fuel right in with the Boot Rack 200. You can do that with the clethodim for grass control, anything like that. You can mix any of our 3 products, our Plot Max, our clover fuel, and our Jolt. Any 3 of them you can mix in with any of your herbicides. Scott, perfect. You live on the land. So, yeah, I would definitely wait till you know that you got a rain coming in. I can't tell you how many times I went down. My property is actually an hour south of me. My main property. The other one's here at the house, but the main property that I spend most of my time in the fall is an hour south. There's multiple times I've actually planted in the rain just because I broadcasted in the rain. I couldn't call the pack just because it was already raining, but I wanted that rain to shove it in. So that's how I did it. I think there's a video of me somewhere on social media of me seeding a plot at 1 o'clock in the morning because a rain finally, a pop up came in after having a 3 month drought about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was. I went down at 1 o'clock in the morning and flashlight in one hand with a solo seeder on my chest and me cranking that thing, holding the flashlight so I could see where I was going. And it's lightning all over. And I got some video of me doing that. It was crazy. I'm not too bright, but hey, it worked. Absolutely, Robert. Jolt works very, very well. Mike, yeah, that rye is a very good one, and adding that fall, winter, spring is you're definitely gonna benefit from that. Doug Lamb, he was at a show. He sold 12 bottles of clover fuel on Sunday. I can believe that. It's going crazy. A lot of my calls right now are clover fuel. Mark Coleman is asking a very good question. And since this is a topic tonight that there ain't a lot we can talk about because there's only a few mixes that you'd really want to plant late, and we'll get back to that. But Mark is asking if there's any new annuals coming out. How do I want to say this? Working on a few things, but no. What we have here is with Antler King, we're a company. I'm trying to say this the right way, guys. So just hold with me here. With Antler King, we've been around since 1986. Honey Hole, which is right back here in the back. The Trophy Clover, which is actually gone because I needed a bag of it the other day and I forgot to bring a new one down. Sorry. But the Trophy Clover, them are the two mixes that came after the Trophy Deer Mineral. Trophy Deer Mineral started this company in 1986 by Mr. Todd Siddleberg. A few years later, after the success of the Trophy Deer Mineral, and pretty much starting the deer craze on deer nutrition, he came out with the Trophy Clover. They came out with the Honey Hole. All these years later, 30 plus years later, they're still our number one selling perennial and our number one selling annual. All these years later, 30 plus years. Since then, you guys have seen products come, you've seen products go. The reason you see them go is not because they're a bad mix. It's because of shelf placement in stores and the sell-through not being as good as it should. The reason the sell-through is not as good is because of products like Honey Hole, like Trophy Clover, or Slam Dunk. You take them three mixes there. Guys that are using Honey Hole and they're using Slam Dunk and they've used them all their life, they're not trying a new mix. They're going to use what they always say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's hard to get somebody, including myself. I've planted Honey Hole and Trophy Clover for over 25 years. And I still plant it to this day, and I'll plant it till the day I die. Them are my two favorite mixes. I like mixing Slam Dunk with my Honey Hole for a little more early and mid-season attraction with it, and then all the late season with the Honey Hole. But getting back to what you're asking, Mark, is with us having the varieties that we have, not saying we don't need to come out with something new, because it's always nice to come out with a new mix. But again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've been around long enough with our proven products that we don't have to keep trying to invent the wheel. Now, don't get me wrong. There's products coming along. If you remember last year or 2 years ago, all these big hybrid plants that everybody's talking about and a lot of these companies are using. I personally tested them along with about 10 other people in different regions. We couldn't get deer to eat them. We're not selling them products. We throw them to the side. We'll never put them in a mix because we want a proven product that, number one, the deer want, and the number two is what the customer wants. So if it ain't going to work for me, it's not going to work for you. Not saying I'm any better than anybody else, but I couldn't sleep at night putting something in this bag that I know the deer are not fond of, even though everybody's talking about it and it's just a big craze going on because all these big hybrid plants and these other plants and the growth is so much bigger, so much more tonnage. If the deer don't eat them, I'm not using them. And that's just how Antler King works. But we're always on the drawing board thinking of different things. When we came up with the grade 8, I don't know how we're going to beat the grade 8. The grade 8 is going to be a very, very hard one to beat for a all-season food source. I mean, with the 8 different varieties in that mix, I can't think of one thing that I would actually add to that mix except for collard greens. I would add collard greens to it if I was redoing it and make it 9, but grade 9 don't sound good. So that's the only thing I would do with that mix because the love I have with collard greens now after using them for the last 4 years, I really, really like collard greens for an early season draw, not for a late season, but for early. But grade 8 is going to be a hard one to beat. So, like I say, we're working at the drawing board. We're playing around with things. We're watching what's going on. We have suppliers letting us know about these new and improved things that are coming in and out, and we test them. I'm testing 3 different things this year. 1 I like, 2 I don't. Actually, 2 of them I'm thinking about killing off just because the deer won't touch them. I mean, they'll walk through them. I got cameras on all 4 corners of a half-acre plot, and the deer walk through them, and they're supposed to be the next big thing coming out. I'm not a fan. So, but we're always on the drawing board playing around. I know it's a long beat up way to try to tell you, no, we don't have nothing coming out right now for a new annual or a new perennial mix. Not saying we won't. There's a couple perennial things that I'd kind of like to play around with, but again, everybody that's using trophy clover, they're not going to quit using trophy clover to try something new that they've never had in their food plot and pray that it works. So it's just one of the things that we got to play around with. And again, we have an arsenal here that is by far the best in the market. And I'm not trying to sound cocky or nothing like that, but I know that the products are proven. Most of the products that are behind me, except for, let's just look here. 1, 2, this one's seed, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 bags here that is less. I'm just making sure. I don't want you guys to call me out on this. Slam Dunk, Honey Hole, No Sweat, Lights Out, Fall, Winter, Spring, Red Zone. They've been around over 20 years. Some of them over 30 years. There's 3 mixes here that are less than 10 years old. So from about 22 years to 33 years of seed sitting back here behind me, they're proven. If they weren't proven, we wouldn't have them because we couldn't sell them. So most of these mixes have been here more than most companies have been around. So we're very proud to be able to say that because, and again, it's because of customers like you guys that buy the products, use them, love them, tell everybody about them, and we appreciate that very, very much. And but yeah, our products speak for themselves. I hope I can help you guys in any way I can when we're doing all this stuff. I hope these videos like this help. That's why I do them for, because I want you to have success with these products, and I mean, love to use them every year, just like I do. So And I'm the guy that's going to test anything in the most extreme way just to tell you if it's going to work or not, because I know it's not always peaches and cream when we go out there to plant these food plots. We could have the worst weather, the best weather, the worst timing, the best timing. We never know when we can do it. And I want to make sure these products are going to be able to grow for you. All right. I know that was long and drawn out. I apologize about that, but let's see what else is on here. Doug, if you're talking about my property, I ain't showing you where my property is. Kevin, planted in the rain on Saturday? Absolutely. Robert, you just missed me just talking away, and that's about all you've missed right now, bud. I appreciate you being on here, bud. Robert's asking a question for you. How's your competition go this year with, are you talking about domain products, bud? Is that what you're talking about? Jeff, you want them mix you're asking how tall should the fall, winter, spring, and other annuals be before you spray Jolt? I like getting them up about 3 inches tall. Now with Jolt, you can actually spray your first dose of Jolt the day that you plant. You can spray the soil and get the first dose on the soil and then come back in after they reach 3 inches tall, or you can just do the 3 inches tall. It doesn't matter. Scott, I had plot max to put down. Should I put it down ahead of time? Will it help the soil? Absolutely, Scott. The sooner you can get the plot max down, the better off you're gonna be. I'm usually always mixing mine up and spraying mine with my Liberty or Roundup, whichever one I'm using to kill a plot off for the year. I'll mix it and spray it down then. But yeah, you don't have to wait till it's time. You can you get it in as quick as you can, or get it sprayed as quick as you can. Mark Coleman, Southern Greens is still your favorite? Absolutely. Scott, you're doing good. Sold a trophy deer medal. I appreciate that, bud. Robert, you're talking about you chat with a lot of archery stores up in Northwest Wisconsin, small businesses. Absolutely. I appreciate your use of Antler King for 10 years now. I actually enjoyed when I lived up in Wisconsin. I used to travel the circuit up there and going to visit in all them small stores and that we were in up there and everything. And I had a blast going to a lot of them archery and gun shops and the old mom and pop hardware stores and general stores. That was a blast up there. It's amazing what you can find in some of them little rickety towns and these little general stores and archery shops. Kevin just playing the grade 8 this weekend. Mark is actually wanting me to talk about the bag size. Most of actually every annual mix that we have, except for lights out, except for honey hole and fall, winter, spring, are going to be a quarter acre bag. Them two there are both half acres. The honey hole's a half acre bag. The fall, winter, spring is a half acre bag. The lights out, no sweat, grade 8, Southern Greens, slam dunk. You're looking at them, and I take that back. It could be 3. If you look at red zone, if you're wanting to do a fall planting of red zone, calling that an annual, which you can plant red zone in the spring or fall. It's a half acre bag as well. But the rest of them are all quarter acre bags. Now, a lot of them we do offer 40-pound bags online that you can buy 40-pound bags. So you can go that way if you're needing more than just one bag. Donnie, let's see what you got here. I put down No Till and Game Changer. They both came up well at first. Lots of rain early in the spring. Now it's all gone. I don't know. First year trying to do anything food plots. I sprayed fertilizer on it. Plot Max on the No Till and Clover Fuel on the Game Changer. I've cut trees, mowed down vegetation, scraped a steel rake, then put down seed. No tilling. What can I do in the same area for fall and winter food? Same thing, steel rake, no tilling. Let me see here, guys. New to food plus things, Black River Falls, Wisconsin. It's going to really depend, buddy, on how much sun you're actually getting. If you're getting a good amount of sun, you're in Black River Falls area, so you're probably talking about pretty sandy soil, I would think. Unless you're in one of the better spots. If you can get 5 hours plus sunlight in sandier soil, and if it's not sandier, let me know on here. Let's go with, the slam dunk in the fall, winter, spring are do very well in the sandier soil, but they need that sunlight. The only thing that you can really plant with the limited amount of sunlight is going to be the no sweat. The no sweat is and that's the one that you've already used, planted already. Anything else is going to need that 5+ hours of sunlight to get very good growth out of it. So just depending on the sunlight you're going to have. Jim, I totally understand. Jim Moore's on here talking about add the greens and take out the ryegrass. That is my biggest problem with the grade 8. I had to spray a lot to kill the ryegrass off. I totally understand where you're coming from, Jim, because I'm not a big fan of ryegrass as in ryegrass alone. But in mixes, I love ryegrass for the early season, but then I hate it the rest of the season and then having to try to kill it off the next year. Ryegrass is the only grass out there that you're going to find that offers about 28% protein in its growing state. So that's why we like putting the ryegrass in on certain things, is because during that easy early season bow hunt, if it is planted late enough, it's going to be in its growing state and it's going to be offering a lot of protein. But again, after it matures, I know it's a pest. Don't get me wrong. I understand exactly what you're saying. I know where you're coming from. But that's the reason I like putting ryegrass in certain things, is just because of the protein level. The next year, when it does germinate up, it's offering that big high protein, or not germinate, it starts to grow again. It's offering that high protein early spring months. And then again, we got issues again with it because it's going to mature out, and we know how that goes. But I totally understand, buddy. I understand completely, and I appreciate that feedback very much so. Robert, absolutely. Our pH tester works very well. Old John Seats, good to see you on here, buddy. My old buddy from Southern Illinois. He's going to come and hang out in the booth a little bit at the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest this weekend that we're going to have a booth set up there in Bloomington, Illinois. If anybody's around this area and wants to go to Bloomington, Illinois for a heck of a 3-day show, it's going to be a fun one. Outdoor country fish. No dang rain, just a few light showers, but dry. I understand, man. The rain is. We've had all this rain early season or early through the year, and now we're just getting dry. I just looked. I don't have nothing for the next 15 days, and I actually had to plant my annual plots. I didn't have to, but I felt better doing it. I planned them a week earlier than I normally do, 2 weeks earlier than I normally do, because I knew we are getting married and going on our honeymoon. And while we're on our honeymoon is when I normally plant. So I got my southern greens, my honey hole, my slam dunk, my fall, winter, spring. Not fall, winter, spring. I'm sorry. My grade 8. I got all them planted, and we got about 2 inches of rain on them in a matter of about 3 days, and they are beautiful. And now it's dry. I mean, it's the best looking annual plots I've had in quite a few years, because usually I plant them during the drought and we don't have any rain. Now I'm afraid they're going to get smoked. I'm really worried. I might be putting a lot of lights out in fall, winter, spring in if we don't get something here very, very shortly. Robert, you said yes. So I'm pretty sure you're probably talking about domain. Bud, we love competition. And the owners of domain are very close friends of mine. I love them to death, and we're very, very close friends. I wish them guys the best, and I tell them that I want them to succeed. I love them being a competitor. We keep each other on our toes, and I love seeing what they're doing. They're doing very well, and I hope it continues for them, because they are a great group of guys. They got a lot of knowledge, and I'm there for them, and they're there for me if I need it, or if they need me, I'm there. So, very, very good group of guys. So great competition. Kevin, if you're mixing Plot Max with a herbicide, how does the Plot Max actually make it onto the soil if you're killing the weeds off at the same time? Because the Plot Max is actually, what don't get on the soil is actually getting intaked in through the leaf and to the root system. So that's what you're looking at. It's a foiler as well. Jeffrey, you're talking about 30-year plots or 3 inches. That's awesome. Definitely get them sprayed. Robert's asking, will a home and garden pH test kit work as well as a commercial brand? I have tested a lot of pH kits in my life. A lot of the probe styles, lot of the Lipton strip ones, similar like what we got. It will do the exact same thing. The thing I don't like so much about the probe styles, some tell you, some don't. If you're using a probe style that's either got a dial on it or a digital readout, you always want to take distilled water with you, stick the probe in the hole, pull it out, pour the distilled water in that hole, and then stick it back in for 10 more minutes. So a lot of them don't tell you that, but it will not read bare soil onto that probe. You got to use the distilled water and stick it right in there. Don't wait around, because as soon as that distilled water hits air, it starts gaining pH. So pour it in the hole, stick the probe in there, and walk away for about 10 minutes. But yes, they work very well. Mike's asking one more question. When is the suggested planting time for fall, winter, spring? Whenever you plant, and Mike, I don't know where you're from. You can pop it on here and let me know. But I plant fall, winter, spring. I never plant it any earlier than a month later than my normal fall plantings. So when I'm planting my honey hole August 15th, September 15th is usually when I'm starting to plant my lights out. I mean, my lights out or my fall, winter, spring. It's always usually about a month later. It's always here in the Midwest. You're mid-September easily. Yeah, Jeffrey, about ordering products through me. We have a couple different price groups that we go off of. Um, some are free shipping on certain amount of orders on dollar amounts. Other ones are we have a very good industry discount. The only negative thing about the industry discount, even though you're getting a heck of a discount on the product, you have to pay shipping. So depending on what you're looking for and how much you're looking, there's a couple different ways you can go about that. And the industry is a great price point, but again, if you're talking about you're wanting to order 50 blocks, you're you're going to spend a lot of money in shipping. So it's at that point you're almost best to use the online pricing with the free shipping, unless you're going to order a pretty good chunk, and then you can we could work something out on there. Now, I know the store you're talking about, Robert. I used to live in Hatfield, not too very far from Marshfield. All right, Donnie, you're not sure about the sunlight, getting it to open up canopy, do a little bit more sandier soil according to Antler King pH test. You're at a 6.0, so you're doing very well there. There's nothing wrong with a 6.0. You're losing a little bit of money in fertilizer, but not a lot. Um, the plants are able to absorb about 75% of the nutrients with a 6.0. So um, not knowing the sun bud, your best bet is the no sweat. If you wanted to try something, man, the southern greens would no, you're in sandier soil. You're in sandier soil. No, I don't want to do that. If I was going to try something, I would probably, if you don't want to do the no sweat, I would try the slam dunk. It's going to grow very well in the sandy soil, but man, the sunlight, you'll see a big difference between where the sun's hitting and where it's not, because you'll have a big stair step of growth, and you'll see what we're talking about with sun there. But it'll offer you a pretty good chunk of forage as long as you're getting a decent sun. But without knowing, it's kind of hard to tell, bud. But that's the only two that I would even think about, with not knowing if you could get 4 to 5 hours of sun. Oh, Timmy Lambert working late tonight. Good to see you on here, bud. Oh, Dustin Gaskill, not traveling. He finally got on one of these. Mark, you're exactly right. Like you're saying, you like our testing facility because you can plant things that are big, beautiful, and huge, but if the deer don't eat them, there's no benefit. Exactly right. Uh-oh, I think I just seen somebody. Oh, Pat McFadden is on here. Buddy, I miss you, man. We don't live very far from each other. You think you'd come and see me, or I could come and see you. We went right by you not too long ago going on our honeymoon up north, northern Indiana. I know you'd probably be upset with me having a different traveling partner with me, so I didn't want to stop by and get you upset with me. And yes, I had peach rings in the truck too. Uh-oh, old Jaden's watching. Good to see you on here, Jaden. Can you give more information on mineral? What is the main benefit for the deer versus other brands? When it comes to a good mineral, number one, if you're looking for a mineral and you find something, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. If you find something that has more than 30% salt in it, you're pretty much feeding the deer candy. There's not enough room in there for the trace minerals, vitamins that the deer need. If you look at our Lick Magic, everybody loves our Lick Magic. I will put that mineral attractant, that attractant mineral. I call it an attractant mineral because it is high in salt, which is sweet to a deer. It does have 11 trace minerals and vitamins in it. If you want to pull deer from your neighbor's property to you, that product right there, they will drive you nuts with it. It's unbelievable. But if you're wanting to build bigger structure, bigger skeletons, you're wanting a bigger herd, healthier herd, better digestive aid, the whole 9 yards, the trophy deer mineral that started this company that is low in salt, 27% salt. It's got 24 different trace minerals and vitamins in it. That is the mineral that's going to give the deer exactly what they need. I look at minerals like I look at people needing medicine, people taking vitamins. They only take them when they need them. If you look at a good mineral lick, you will have deer only using them when they need them. Now, I personally will only use the trophy deer mineral. What a lot of people look at, though, when they grab that, if they grab this bag, they grab this bucket, they pour them side by side next to each other on their property, they're going to hit the Lick Magic first. Because when you're looking at this one's all medicine. Hardly any sweet to it, just a very little bit of sweet to it. So it's like us taking medicine. It does what we need when we need it, but it tastes like crap at first until they start using it, get addicted to it, and then they got it. Where the Lick Magic, it's like us eating a Reese's peanut butter cup. We're going to love it, and we're going to keep coming back for more. So if you're wanting to build a healthier herd, you're wanting to give the deer the vitamins, the minerals, all the nutritional value they need, you want to go with the trophy deer mineral. When I look at a deer mineral, a lot of people overuse deer mineral. It's not hurting the deer at all. It's just hurting your pocketbook. I run 1 lick per 40 acres. I run 40 pounds of mineral in that lick once a year. 20 pounds, 1 bag in the spring, 20 pounds, 1 bag in the fall or late summer. If you talk to a lot of these mineral guys, you need to pour it to them. You need to dump it out there. You got to put 4 or 5 bags in a month. No, you don't. If you're using good mineral that actually has the trace minerals and vitamins in it and not a bucket or a bag of salt, you don't have to do that. That leaches down into the soil. That's why they dig the hole. They build you a pond. That's how it works. So I have a very high number of deer on one of my farms that it works just great. 40 pounds, but we highly recommend in testing 1 lick per 40 acres. Kevin's asking, can you mix Lick Magic with Trophy Clover? Absolutely, you can. Pat, we definitely need to get together, bud, real soon. Robert, Robert's talking about how some people will mix seeds, especially small variety of seeds with sand, anything like that. When I'm planting clover, 90% of the time, if I'm doing a planting of clover, and it's to actually help disperse the seed out better, I'll mix mine with oats. I'll just go buy normal horse oats. Pat McFadden on here knows exactly what we're talking about. We've told this spill many a times in shows. I'll mix them with it. It makes it spread a lot easier, especially people using a drill, something like that. It's just something that's very easy to do. But yeah, a lot of guys, uh, I know guys that actually mix the seed in with their fertilizer and spread it. Uh, but I don't. I don't personally like doing that part of it. But but I know guys that do all different ways. Because what a lot of people don't realize, them small seeds, they fall out of that seeder so fast. And it's so easy to overseed an area and then run out of seed before you get to where you need to be with it. So mixing in something a little heftier like oats or cereal rye, something like that in with it, it helps disperse it out a lot easier. Mike talking about putting the Graniac blocks out last year. The Graniac block is stupid. That there ain't a block on the market that can touch it, and I'll put all the money I got on it. That I was telling a guy today actually on the phone or yesterday actually, when we developed that block, when our we knew it was going to be good, but we had no clue that it was going to be so good that it's going to be our number one selling products 4 years running, and having to build a new block plant just to supply enough Graniac blocks alone and let our other block plant do all the other blocks. That's how good that block is. It is very hard on your billfold though, because the deer eat it way too fast, way too much. Uh, but that block it's crazy. We're actually trying to get that block into a tub form, but it's not the easiest thing to do with the formula of it, as in trying to pour into a tub for it to hurt. It's kind of, we're still working on that one, but we'd love to get like a 90-pound tub that you could put out like a cattle tub. Donnie, you're very welcome, bud. Anytime, anything I can do to help you, just let me know. Robert, if you're talking, you said the magic, you're talking about lick magic. Yes, it will track bucks, does. It tracks all of raccoons. It tracks all of them. I mean, they'll all be on it. They're going to hammer it. All the deer are going to hammer it, but for the nutritional value of it, the trophy deer mineral is the way to go. Night and day difference. Mike, yours is gone in 2 days. I had a guy call me up and said, and I don't know if he's on here. It could be one of you guys. I don't know. Very good guy. He said, I got a problem with some blocks I bought. I bought some Graniac blocks for the first time and I put them out. And he said, they just melted to the ground. I'm like, melted to the ground? I said, these blocks don't do that. He said, I had them out for 3 days and all that's left is looks like a little football. And I started laughing and I said, you got any trail cameras? He's like, yeah. I said, put a trail camera on it. I said, because I don't know why, but every Graniac block that I use, the deer will actually gnaw it down to almost football size, like a little kid's football. I don't know why. And they roll it all over the place. I said, that's the deer eating them. He's like, well, usually I get 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month or longer out of a block. I said, you want these? I said, if you're getting 4 days, you're doing something. You don't have very many deer. And a few days later, he calls me back and he says, I had 330 pictures that night on that block. He couldn't believe that it was a deer doing it. He just thought it was melting in the ground and going away. It's just amazing what them blocks do. Dustin, yeah, you told a guy about the block. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's amazing. It's amazing how they are. All right, guys, I think I got to the last question here. If you got any more, let me know. We got like 4 minutes and they're going to kick us off here. Anything else I can help you with here? Again, we talked about the late plantings, the late annuals, the lights out, fall, winter, spring, cereal rye. that's the 3 go-tos that I go with when I'm doing a real late planting, especially when we're having weather like we are now when it's getting hard to get stuff planted. So Robert had a Graniac walk out and had a cub bear on it, and another bear took it off. The bear love them. They just run away with them. Timmy Lambert, absolutely. If you're planting clover, make sure you pack it in. Roll it in. Yes, sir. Kevin, I appreciate it, bud. I'm glad you're learning a lot tonight. Anything I can help you with, man, just let me know. Jeff Johnson, your dealership, you're selling the heck out of them blocks, aren't you? Customers are buying 6 to 8 at a time. That guy I was talking to on the phone yesterday, he's talking about buying them at Tractor Supply. And I said, yeah, that's the only negative thing about it is, I said, a lot of these dealerships don't bring a lot of these Graniacs in. Then they sell them right away. I said, because everybody hoards them. As soon as they get 10 in, one guy goes in there and buys them, and that guy goes, I'm that guy. He said, anytime I go into any store and I see a Graniac block, I buy every one on the shelf. And he's like, because I can't find them anywhere else. And it's crazy. I would have never believed that block would be #1 seller for 4 years going now. Robert, good to see you on here, bud. You take care of yourself and you have a good night. All right, guys, you don't have nothing else. We'll get ready to hop off here. It's been a good show tonight. I know I've been rambling on. Got a lot of people on here that I like seeing on here. And a lot of new people. Mike, you're welcome, buddy. Nice meeting up with you. That fall, winter, spring will work out great for you, man. You'll really like that mix. Kevin McFarland, you have a good night as well, bub. Yeah, just give me a call tomorrow, Jeff. Sounds good. Oh, Robert, yeah, your order. Yeah, let me get. Did I request? I can't remember if I requested tracking on that yet or not. I may have it for you, bud. I'll look when I get off here. I'll check my emails and see. I can't remember if I requested tracking on yours or not. If not, I will get it for you. If I don't have it, it'll be first thing in the morning. So with me getting old, make sure you text me in the morning and say, hey, don't forget my tracking if you don't hear from me tonight. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. We're going to have to jump off here. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks. Ricky, good to see you on here, bud. Thank you very much for hopping on here, man. All right, guys.